Williams says, I sense he is guilty. I expected a tougher character, maybe someone with a military background, but maybe he's experiencing killing before, like you said. Yeah, you know what? Let's get off this. I made a video about 4 days ago. If you haven't watched on my channel, and let's bring that up. And it was titled, I think the Moscow, Idaho 4 murderer could be a serial killer. And if you haven't watched that, I'm actually going to play through. Here are some of my thoughts to the particular person or people that did commit this crime. The suspect or suspects knew these girls. So let's stop there for a second. The interesting thing about this is now what we're finding out is that Bryan stalked these girls. He was in the area, in and around that area, and he stalked Kaylee and Maddie. Bryan is vegan, and I believe Kaylee and Maddie worked at a vegan restaurant. Now, this is, again, this is not 100% confirmed. This is just through some conversation with a coworker. And they said they read something that Bryan had an interaction and saw the girls there first. Could be true, it could not be true. And maybe this is something that we find out when the affidavit is unsealed, hopefully in the next couple of days, so we can have that information. But that would be the first interaction supposedly with them. So if you look here, so the suspect knew these girls by watching or interacting with them before. That he was not a stranger. And they had been watching them for a while or interacted with them before. This is definitely not a stranger. The suspect that did this is very smart, and they did a significant amount of recon on the house. They methodically planned out this crime. They studied movements of the house, who came and went, and what times people came and left the home. So now that we're finding more out about Bryan, we're finding that he was a PhD student in criminology. He actually went on Reddit and was posting up surveys to try to get information from people that have been in jail. There's another article that I was reading today that he may have been in contact with the BTK killer and had a relationship with him and corresponded with him. So this is a lot of interesting things. And I think more of this information is going to come out as the days and weeks go on. But I'm like, when all this started coming out, I'm like, man, I almost nailed it. That this is the guy. This was the profile. The suspect came in on foot and made sure that the vehicle they drove was far away and out of reach of any cameras or people that could see it. And this definitely was a targeted attack. It definitely was a crime of rage or passion or to fulfill a fantasy. And now, you know, when we think about this and we see this, to fulfill a fantasy, maybe he was trying to do the perfect crime. Maybe he wanted to be a serial killer. Maybe he was starting to become a serial killer. And again, I still speculate that he may be involved in other crimes. And I want to just go through this video and finish it out as to, if I say in this video, if I was an FBI profiler, this would be the person that I'm looking for. So now, with all that known, so here I question, is this a serial killer? And it's almost like he had the beginnings of becoming a serial killer. With all that's gone on, with no one that has come forward, no one that has brought any new evidence in this case. Again, it's been 8 weeks since this crime has happened. Could we start thinking at this point, could it be a serial killer? If I was an FBI profiler, this is probably the suspect that I would be looking for. It's a large male with great strength. So we know he wasn't large. He was actually a smaller guy, but he was in his 20s, 28 years old. We found out that he was an extreme introvert, and we're finding out that he has been rejected by people around him. He was kind of the black sheep of the family. I'm almost like, when this all came down, I was like, yes, my profile is like correct of this guy. Outdoorsman, not really, but someone that likes to hunt and is very experienced with knives. And that could be the you know, becoming that criminologist, taking psychology and wanting to know about all those types of things. He's definitely obsessed with killing. Would be in their 20s or 30s, an extreme introvert, someone that was bullied or rejected by women, throughout their entire life.
Check mark.
This is definitely someone that spends a lot of time outdoors. Someone that likes to
We'll
hunt
do a half check mark on this one.
and is very experienced with knives. Someone that may be obsessed with killing, or they likely killed or attempted to kill before.
And that's where I'm saying there could be a possibility that he's done this before. He may have done this.
They may have an uncontrollable temper or have random bursts of energy and strength.
And what we're finding out is there have been reports that Bryan has gone into restaurants and bars and harassed women, has made rude comments to them. So that would fall under, that uncontrollable temper or rage. And it's like, check mark. I nailed it. I nailed it. Yeah, that's a great point, William. He was overweight and he went to the gym and corrected it. Yeah. So, he may be stronger. And it's funny. Sometimes the smaller guys, because they have that elasticity in their muscles. I know a little bit about like weightlifting, because I basically lifted weights since I was 20 years old. I'm in my 40s now. You're definitely true on that, man. Because some of the smaller guys sometimes are very, very, very strong. This guy had a lot of rage and a lot of strength.
I think this person definitely abused alcohol and drugs.
And the abuse of alcohol and drugs, we are finding out that Bryan did battle a heroin addiction. I believe that's something in an article his parents has confirmed. So check mark on that one. Thank you very much.
And they have very obsessive compulsive personality, because the way that this was planned out.
Check mark on that one too.
Last detail. Now, I know this has been an extremely frustrating case, a very frustrating case for the victims' families involved, the Moscow police, and the world, because the world has been watching.
So yeah, basically that's going to sum up that video. And if you haven't seen it, I'm going to drop the link to that one. You can go over and click over and watch that. If you want to watch that after this live stream, I would appreciate it. But again, when I started, all of the information came out and the profile, and I saw this person. Now that we're learning about him, like, yes, like I totally almost perfectly nailed who this person was.